Hi, I'm Betsy, and this is Smokey, and we're out here on the land. And I want to talk a little bit about the process of buying land in the deserts of Arizona. When I was looking for land, it took me about a year, and I wanted to stay in Mojave County because my intention to begin with was just to have a place to go to and camp and hang out and enjoy the quiet. So I started my search in the Seligman Ash Fork area. It's beautiful there. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours from where I live in Kingman. It's a little bit cooler, higher elevation than Kingman. It has the juniper trees and pinyons. It's about 10 degrees cooler in the summertime, but they get a lot more snow than we do here in Kingman. So the distance was a factor for me, but beautiful, beautiful property. After looking around in Mojave County, I settled on this 10-acre parcel. It wasn't fenced. There wasn't anything here except for all natural vegetation. And that was just perfect. I had no intentions of expanding and adding 2 cabins, the sky deck, and there's Big Red, the most recent addition. Not to mention the fencing. And I'll talk about fencing in another video because that was really that was really a project. I did the fencing and it took me about a year to decide on that. But I found out that my dog Smokey loves to chase vehicles. And I purchased this piece of land out here because there was hardly any traffic at all. Very little traffic. And that was perfect. Except for the one or two few times there would be a quad or something go through the desert and the smoke would rise and off Smokey went chasing. So that was problematic for me. I was really concerned about someone running her over or taking a pop shot at her because we're allowed to open carry here in Arizona. So finally I decided on fencing. And like I mentioned, that's a whole nother story. And I will talk about fencing. The other thing is when considering purchasing this property, I didn't want a lot of cactus on the property because of Smokey and other dogs. We had a whole family of dogs that we would bring out here and run and camp with. So property that had a lot of cholla on it was an absolute no for me. No, 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 no. I do have probably about 4 or 5 what they call pencil cholla. And they're small. I did little rock surrounds around them just so I could see them. And Smokey has learned not to stick her nose in them. Dogs will do that. But with the other 2 kinds of cholla, the buckhorn and the teddy bear cholla, they break off. Their pieces break off and they blow in the desert. And you can be walking along and get them stuck in the bottom of your shoe or your pant leg. Or if you have a poochie, the poochie can get them in their paws. And the thing about them, the cholla, is their sheaths stay in when you try and pull them out. Whenever I'm out walking about in the desert, I have a little pouch with water and a bee sting kit because I'm allergic to bees, and a pair of needle nose pliers in case Smokey gets something stuck in her paw. I can pull it out. So a lot of cactus was a big no for me. Out here in this part of the desert, we have cat's claw, and I have some on the property, not a whole lot of them, that will grow tall, and they're beautiful. If you trim them up, they will become a tree. There's a lot of creosote here, which is lovely. And this parcel doesn't have any yucca. Because we've been in drought for such a long time, a lot of the yucca have died. And it is all open range. So the cattle will come through and they will munch on the yucca as well as the burrows. And one of the reasons why I fenced was because of the burrows and because of the cattle. A male burrow will present itself to a dog as friendly, but then stomp it to death. That's why the coyotes out here leave the burrows alone, because a burrow will kill a coyote. A male burrow will. They're very protective. And all of Arizona is open range. So that's something to consider. Now, aside from having the 10 acres fenced, I have a little fenced area around both the cabins so that when I'm out here sleeping, Smokey can't go and roam the 10 acres because over the course of time, there have been little escape areas in the fence. And I will, like I said, talk about fencing and the mistakes I made with fencing. Now, another aspect to look at in buying land is how accessible is it? How many washes do you need to cross to get to it? And are you in a flood zone? In the last 5 years, I've had probably about 3 different little washes crop up from the rains. Before I placed the first cabin out here, I walked the land and I watched for every little area that would have a ripple to where water could come through. And boy, water can really surprise you how it will run out here in the desert. So washes, accessibility, you want to make sure if you're going to buy property that you're not landlocked, that you have legal easements or roads to your property. And I would also recommend that you do a title search. And if possible, that there's a survey on file. This parcel has been surveyed, but it didn't get recorded with the county. But I have the survey on it. Because when you do place buildings or do fences, you want to make sure that you're not encroaching on somebody else's parcel. So this is just a little bit of what I wanted to share about finding land out in the desert. The prices have gone up in the last 5 years, like everything has. When I first came to Arizona in 2003, you could buy property out here for $100 an acre. And out here in this part of Golden Valley, the average, depending on how far you are from power and from Route 66 or any other roads, starts about $1,000 an acre. The closer you are to electricity, the more it's going to be. And the electricity for me is way far away. I think the last estimate I had, just for grins and giggles to see how much it would cost to bring it in, it was about close to $35,000. Gotta love Arizona and the solar availability. So this is a little bit of what I wanted to share about the process. There are some still owner carries out here. Um, all I can say is buyer beware. I'm not a real estate agent or an attorney. This is just my anecdotal advice and experience. And thank you for listening. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask, and I'll try and answer them. Say bye, Smokey. Oh, there she is. There's my girl. She's taking a nap. Oh, she's so tired.